What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Big Freakin Health Coach Podcast. I'm Big Freakin Neil, and I'm joined, of course, as always, can't seem to get away from him, my buddy, business partner, brain twin, badass, big bicepped, health coach Kane. What's up, buddy?
I lost him on the what.
Yeah, I went for it.
It was good. It was a long lead in.
Did you like it?
Liked it. I was just waiting for the payoff. It's like waiting for a punchline that never comes. It's so good.
Exactly. I think that was like a solid 5-second lead in there.
Yeah. It's good.
I'm going to try to get us up
Cardio's
to like...
paying off.
I'm going to try to get us up to like 15 seconds. I'm just like...
I'll like go get a drink and come back and...
people like messing with their Spotify. Like,
is it frozen?
Is it playing? Is it a loop?
Did my stereo break? Stereo, what is it, 1992?
Did my tape recorder break?
I better go get the pencil and wind it back up again.
Is my record player skipping? What's going on, dude? What's the word?
The word. The word is my arms are sore.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What'd you do to them?
I did overhead presses.
Ooh.
And then a bunch of broy accessory work. Because I'll level with you, I did not feel like working out. And then I did.
Yeah.
But the only way I got myself to do it was like, look, I know my stupid throwaway broy day is supposed to be an optional like weekend workout and it's like Tuesday. But if I'm going to get this done, I'm going to have to actually enjoy doing it today and then I'll do the one I don't like tomorrow. And so I swapped them.
Shoulders and arms is a great go-to for that when you don't feel like working out because it's always fun.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
My two favorite things in the world are deadlifts and overhead presses.
Yes.
They're the best.
I'm a big fan, and I just recently got these back in the program, of seated dumbbell overhead press.
God, I love that.
That is my fave.
Yeah, I saw that video.
Did you?
That was
Did you see
damn
that?
impressive.
Did you like it?
I'm coming for you, though. Just you wait. I'm at about half.
Hey, man, you might catch me. We'll see.
That sounded really confident. Just hey, you might.
You never know.
Stranger things have happened.
Yeah,
I'm coming for you. I'll get you.
You'll get me.
I'll get you one of these days.
Hey, I basically did altogether body weight. So if you get proportionately the same, then we'll call it square.
All right. So I only have like 50-ish pounds to go.
There you go. Could be worse.
Dude, that's not bad at all. I can make that up. What are we talking
That's
for how
like,
many reps? You did what, 4?
I did 4.
4? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
You got this.
Then I'm probably only like 30 pounds down.
You got this, dude.
Yeah. Get it.
Oh, buddy. Yeah. So one of my personal favorite parts of the podcast is finding out what poison you have for me to drink today.
I felt bad at the discrepancy between the quality of our drinks last time.
Sure.
Especially because we switched at halftime.
Yeah.
And you got the good one first, and then...
Yeah, and you got to experience it.
I did us both a favor and got it straight up. This is Rain, and it's the orange dreamsicle flavor.
Oh, buddy. This is, without question, my absolute number one favorite energy drink flavor right now.
Yes.
I already know this is 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5, if not 6 out of 5.
Already know it. I've noticed a change since you realized that we're swapping at halftime.
We don't need to really talk about that.
Very interesting, the timing of this delicious drink.
My strategy is to give you a really good one and then keep you talking for most of the first half of the episode.
Yeah.
And then when we switch, it's like 3/4 mine.
Interesting strategy. So what you're telling me is that I should give lots of really long, awkward pauses so you feel compelled to speak so I can drink my rain.
See, this is reasons I'm not a poker player. I just totally dropped my poker face, gave you my whole strategy.
Yeah.
It's like me sitting here going, yeah, I mean, I'm just going to call, but I have pocket aces. So when we get around to the flop, then it's going to be, or the river, or whatever the stupid.
If you work on your bluffing skills, then that could work in your favor, because everyone at the poker table is going to think that you're just laying it all out there.
Did I tell you my brother's poker face used to be just a really big fake smile? And he would just hold an ear-to-ear smile, like mouth open, the entire hand.
Like when it was good or bad?
Both.
Oh, dude.
That was just his face.
That's a pretty solid strategy.
Yeah.
If it's the same expression no matter what.
Mm-hmm. It was always big grin, really bright eyes, and then he'd be like 7-2 offsuit fold.
Dude, I want your brother on this podcast. I think that'd be hilarious.
God. I'll talk to him.
We need to make it happen.
We should get him out. Even if he's just like a ridiculous question machine.
Yes.
That would be fantastic.
That would be perfect. He just sits between us, asks us questions, and we take turns answering. I think that'd be great.
Love it.
Okay, buddy.
What I
got an old classic, but with a weird kind of spin on it. This is a Red Bull, the Blue Edition.
So it's a blue ball.
Whatever the hell that means. Oh, that's true, huh? False advertising. And it's appropriately a blueberry flavored.
Oh, is it?
Which sounds terrible.
It does.
So my caffeine content on the Reign I know is 300 because I drink those all the time. The caffeine content here is
160. It looks like
114
really for 12 fluid ounces.
for 12 ounces.
It says 160 on the little button right there.
Oh, that's calories, dude.
Oh,
Your eyes checked, buddy.
Who's speaking? Who is that? All I see is a beardy blur.
just a blur with a hat and a beard.
All right, let's crack these bad boys open.
Let's do it. I'm excited to hear how that is. I know that this is delicious. So
it's the Red Bull that makes you sad.
Oh, that's the stuff.
I don't know how to feel about this.
I wonder if the people that are just audio only are just disgusted by our slurping and our weird noises.
These long, awkward silences followed by groaning.
Yeah.
This isn't bad, but it's also not good. I'm going to give it like a solid 3.2.
Okay. Tell me more about it. Is it sweet?
It's a little bit sweet at the onset. It's not overpowering.
Aftertaste?
Not really.
Okay.
It's definitely blueberry, but it's not like punching me in the face with blueberry.
Okay.
And it just has the tiniest little consistent tinge of the usual Red Bull flavor underneath it. So
Interesting. Interesting. Well, mine is, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 5.
Stuff dreams are made of.
So good. I don't understand. What the hell is this sweetened with?
Unicorn tears.
Sucralose, which is Splenda. That's why I feel like that's the best tasting of the chemicals. Sucralose.
Yeah, of the chemicals you can get, we opt for that one.
Yes, it's my ideal chemical.
Speaking of ideal things, what's our topic today, big guy?
Oh, buddy, we're going to talk about the best exercises that no one is doing.
I love it.
The stuff that you're not seeing all over Instagram or all over the gym, but is actually really, really beneficial that we personally recommend.
Perfect.
Why don't you kick us off? What's your first choice?
Oh, my first choice, off the top of my head, is face pulls.
Okay.
If you've never done a face pull before,
Love them.
Pretty much what it is an upper back exercise. It will have you pinching your shoulder blades together, so scapular retraction, working your traps. And then it will also have you externally rotating your hands backwards, working rear delts and all the posterior rotator cuff muscles.
Yeah.
It is far and away the most effective postural exercise that I've ever had anyone do. And all of my clients have it in all of their programs regularly.
Nice.
Especially with people doing so many hours at a desk and over a computer and things like that.
Yeah.
Adding more and more horizontal pulling volume, and specifically in a way that will help you pull your shoulder blades together and down to a normal position versus the shrugged and protracted and internally rotated at the shoulder vulture posture that people get into. So face pulls, if you're not doing them, oh my God, start 3 sets of 12 to 15.
Boom.
Tack them onto the end of every workout until you are bored as hell with them.
Yes. Yeah, I love the external rotation element because I feel like that's a component of what your rear delts do that most exercises miss. You know what I mean? Like to actually get a pull and an external rotation in one move is a rare thing.
Because you'll see a lot of people do like reverse flies and things like that. And that will work them, but not in all the capacities in which they need to work for proper posture.
Yeah, agreed.
Reverse flies are often butchered as well. Like they're a routinely poorly executed exercise.
Absolutely.
But face pulls are really hard to screw up. You end up looking like pretty much a goalpost at the end, and it's either that or it's not.
Somebody flexing.
Yeah. I used to, we had the same client.
Yes. That's exactly
I do them with a rope, and I always describe them as you're going to grab this rope, thumbs down, and then you're going to pull into douchebag muscle pose, like the double bicep. And she did the swooping motion with it, and she was like, shaped kind of like a canoe, like a douche canoe. And for the next year, we called them douche canoes.
Yes. Yep. And then probably another year after, when I trained the same client, it was still what we called them. So it made a lasting impact for sure.
Good. That's really good.
All right. So my first choice today is sort of the opposite end of the spectrum. And that is some good old fashioned dips. I think dips get a bad rap because there are some people who can't do them because of shoulder issues and mobility issues, but it's really an individual thing. It's not one of those exercises that you should just stay away from, regardless of who you are. If you can do them, they're awesome. And a lot of it has to do with range of motion, too. I would never recommend somebody just bury their shoulders into the dip bar and go as far down as they can, because that's just a ton of range of motion for your shoulders to go through. I have clients go about 90 degrees or just slightly further, and that's how far I go as well. And if you don't have pre-existing shoulder issues, that shouldn't do any damage at all.
Yeah.
A good alternative to a dip, if you are someone who has shoulder mobility problems and they don't feel great to you, is a decline press.
Yeah.
It's another underrated exercise. A lot of people, I think, look at it as a excuse just to bench press more weight than you can flat press. But actually, there's a ton of pec and tricep activation that goes along with it. And if you think of it as a movement, it's very similar to a dip, very similar angle on your pecs. And if you bring your grip in a little bit closer, you can make it a killer tricep exercise as well. So decline press you can do with a bar if your gym is equipped with a decline bench press, or if you have a freestanding decline bench, you can do them with dumbbells as well. So those are my two biggest ones. I personally, as far as my just regular flat bench goes, dips have been the one accessory exercise that has skyrocketed my bench press the most. It's not... it's not flies, it's not incline press, it's dips that have made the biggest impact on my bench press going up. So if you do have performance goals, strength goals, it's a great accessory for that as well.
And the dips re-enter my program tomorrow.
There you go.
We're going to do that.
Nice.
Awesome. Good pick.
You're going to strap some weight to your body, or?
We'll start with just a big old, because I do have pre-existing shoulder issues.
Fair.
So I'm definitely like in the neutral grip. So palms facing each other. None of that bench dip stuff. That tends to force the head of my humerus straight into the front of that shoulder capsule. It goes really poorly.
Yeah.
But I'll have the 90-degree range of motion, neutral grip. And that I can do, and we'll get a little bit of muscular endurance going there first. I haven't done dips in years at this point. So it's actually an exercise that I have not been doing too.
Nice.
So we'll build it up, and then, oh, hell yeah, I'm going to strap some weight as soon as they can handle it.
Nice.
It's going to be great.
Dude, we need to get in a dip sesh together.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that'd be fun.
You can just sit on my back, on my shoulders.
I look like a little Franco Columbo to your Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Perfect. What's your next choice, dude?
My next choice is a trap bar deadlift.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing. Lots of people are deadlifting. Lots of people are deadlifting poorly.
Yes.
Now, there's research that shows that 90-ish% of people, if I read this correctly, lack the strength, mobility, or both to do a flat bar deadlift from the floor with proper form.
Sure.
Now, usually there's a compensation with the low back, like your lumbar spine will flex or extend extra to get you down there.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of reasons that might not be the thing for you, all the way down to your skeletal structure.
Right.
So there's not a lot you can do about that.
Yeah.
So for most of my general population, I have them do it from a trap bar.
Okay.
First of all, you can grab onto that bar at your sides. You can use a neutral grip. It's easier to engage your lats. You can sit back a little bit further so you keep the emphasis in your glutes and not in your low back if you're like short torsoed or something like that.
Sure.
You know? Or excessively long torsoed, which is actually a bigger problem than being short torsoed.
Yeah.
It also raises your grip 2 to 3 inches. So rather than pulling from where the bar usually sits, it's a little bit higher.
Yep.
So the amount of flexion at your hips is less. You usually can move a little bit more weight, but it's not the weight that I'm ever worried about. It's the clean hip extension with a neutral lumbar spine.
Yeah.
Those are the important things. You're really there just to build glute, hamstring, and back strength.
Yeah.
Mostly in the glutes. So if you have to compromise that and that movement pattern to get a flat bar from the floor, you're defeating the purpose of why you're doing it anyway. So who even cares?
Sure. I
So,
really
trap
like
bar.
how easily to what am I trying to say here? How easy to progress the trap bar deadlift is too, because you've got that, like you were saying, the top set of handles that gets you a few inches higher off the ground. Then you can also flip it over, and it'll lower you down to about the same height that a bar would be.
Right.
But you can still maintain that neutral grip, like you're talking about. So it's a really good one to start with. And then as your mobility gets better, flip it over, increase your range of motion, and then potentially work up to a straight bar deadlift if you have reason to. So yeah, agreed, man. I think that's a great pick. Sort of in the same vein, my next pick is also a hinge exercise, but it's not one of the more popular ones. And that is a single leg RDL. So,
And for those at home, RDL stands for
Romanian deadlift. Also known as a straight-legged deadlift. So, as the name implies, it is a hip hinge like a deadlift, but rather than squatting your hips down towards the floor, your hips stay in one spot. There's just a slight bend in your knee so that it's soft and not locked, but then there's no change in knee flexion throughout the exercise. So your legs are staying fairly straight. A single leg variation, the foot that's not on the floor is moving backwards behind you as you hinge forward. It is an incredibly effective exercise for balance and stability. The biggest thing that I see when someone is not used to the exercise, when they first pick it up, is they're just all over the map as far as their balance goes. So if you struggle with balance, it can be hugely effective for improving it. It also is great at fixing muscular imbalances. That's the main reason I have it in people's programming. You will typically see, for someone who's fairly untrained in this specific exercise, you will typically see a pretty big discrepancy between dominant and non-dominant legs. And by incorporating this exercise into your program and training each side evenly, that's important. You don't want to do more reps on your dominant side just because you can, or more weight. But as long as you train both legs evenly, it can close that gap between the two and really have a ton of carryover into your two-legged variations, like your trap bar deadlift or your traditional conventional deadlift, and your squat as well, and other exercises like that. So there's also a lot of lower back and glutes, and for that reason, I think it's a great all-around single-leg variation to have in the program.
For sure.
Definitely.
Especially if you're someone who has less than stable hips. That is a great one to work into. And I very much recommend that everybody start them with no weight in your hands and slowly, gradually add weight.
Yeah, agreed.
Because it's going to be a lot harder than you think.
Yes.
And definitely have used that in two different capacities. And you'll see if you play sports or anything, like if you're a tennis player, a baseball player, anything that's pretty much one-sided, not only will you have one side that's stronger than the other, but usually In the opposite, you'll have one side that's more stable than the other. And you can use it to even out both those kinds of strength. So I think Neil might take the cake with that recommendation. That might be the best one we do today.
Cool.
That's a very solid one.
Very effective exercise. On that note, even though we kind of glossed right over true halftime, I think it's time to swap drinks, buddy.
Oh, thank God.
You excited to
So excited.
have a safe bet for a change?
Yeah.
Okay. We need to re-rate
Concocted this all on my own.
Interesting.
You only gave this a 7 out of 5?
Right? You know, on second thought, it's probably a 30 out of 5.
Okay, like I joked about unicorn tears, but there might literally be unicorn tears in here.
Might be, dude.
This is wow.
Or just a ton of sugar and they're lying to us. Because it's so...
Which is much more likely.
It's so good.
Because it's interesting how there are no calories of anything. It's like 0% of your daily everything, but there are 10 calories per can.
Are there really? Oh, look at that.
It says 0. Everywhere else, 0 sugar. Where are my calories coming from then?
What about carbs? Are there carbs?
Oh, it says 3 grams of carbs. I misread that.
Oh, I bet it's sugar alcohols. That's how they get you.
It's how they get you.
That's how they get you. Still only 10 calories, though. That's no big deal.
Bad.
This is, I see what you mean about not being real sweet. It's sort of, it's a little sweet, but...
Meh. It's not worth the 160 calories.
Yeah. What'd you give it?
I gave it like a 3, I think.
3 something?
It's just a 3.2.
I'm going to go... Yeah, I'll go 3 straight up.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's drinkable.
Drinkable. It'll get the job done.
Speaking of getting the job done, what's our next exercise,
Perfect
buddy?
segue.
Right?
I'm going to go with lateral lunges.
Okay.
The reason for these, and I'll say even, okay, first of all, I don't see many people doing them. Of the people that I do see doing them, they don't do enough of them.
Yeah.
Because most exercises you do in a commercial gym setting happen in the sagittal plane. That means you're moving forward or backward from where you are. So think about when you bench press, you're pushing forward. When you're rowing, you're pulling backward. The lateral lunge happens in the frontal plane, which cuts your body in half from the side. So stepping out to your left, stepping out to your right. This is really important to maintain hip mobility, control of the hip joint, and strength moving in the frontal plane that way.
Sure.
So there are a bunch of abducting muscles in your glutes and things that need to be strong enough that if for some reason in your daily life you had to scoot sideways real quick, you're not going to pull or tear anything.
Yeah.
And especially if you're athletic, you're never just running straight forward and straight back. So you need to be able to move with authority and safety in all planes.
Yeah. I agree with that. I also love how it sort of doubles as a really solid, dynamic hip flexor stretch.
Oh, yeah.
It is fantastic.
It'll get your hip flexor. It'll get your medial hamstring. It'll get your entire adductor complex. Like all of that stuff. Even if you have tight calves, sometimes I'll feel a calf stretch.
Yeah.
When I get down there. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I
So
like it a lot.
really good for mobility. Like you said, it builds strength in an area that is often neglected, and which will just lead to a decreased risk of injury. I think it has a decent carryover into the other big lifts too, especially if you train really heavy for you. Because one thing that like I've experienced in my own squat, for example, is when it gets really heavy, I'll have like a little bit of a lateral hip shift. And this is a perfect exercise to include in the program to correct those types of issues. Strengthen your muscles laterally so you don't have that discrepancy.
Yeah.
Like the single leg RDL, you're working each side individually, so there's no risk of your dominant side overtaking your non-dominant side. So yeah, great choice, buddy.
I like that one a lot. And it's
like
important to note that you're not going to lift a ton of weight that way.
Yeah.
That's not really the most powerful direction for your legs and hips to work in. So you'll probably lower the load, up the reps quite a bit, but it is very, very, very worth doing.
Yeah, just like the single leg RDL, start body weight.
Yep.
You'll still get, even if it's not real intense for you in terms of intensity, you'll still get a lot of mobility, benefits out of it. And then once you're comfortable in the movement, gradually increase the weight, just like you said.
You'll be sore in places you haven't been sore in a very, very long time.
Absolutely. Or ever.
Or
Possibly ever. All right, man. I think that brings us to our grand finale, which for me is the polyp press. So
love the polyp press.
Very, very underrated core exercise. Partially because it's not sexy when you look at it. It doesn't even look like a core exercise if you don't know what it is. It looks like some weird type of like chest press from the side.
Yeah. The first time I give it to anyone, I was like, really?
What is this for?
Like, why though?
Yeah.
How is that even difficult?
So a polyp press, guys, is you can do it with a cable, you can do it with a band. You're standing perpendicular to the cable, to the pulley, and you're pushing with both hands straight out in front of you, holding for a beat and coming back in slowly. The idea is the further out in front of your body that you get, the more the cable or band or whatever the resistance is going to want to rotate you towards the pulley. So the idea is you're resisting the urge to rotate and you're keeping your spine and your core and everything neutral and in position. And that just blows up basically your entire core.
Oh, yeah.
It's great for just actual core stability as opposed to flexion, crunches, those types of exercises. It's great at training your core to do actually what it's intended to do, which is stabilize and support your spine and just your whole torso.
And if you're like a golfer, a lot of people golf, these anti-exercises, the anti-rotation of that exercise will train your decelerating rotational muscles.
Yeah.
The stronger those are and the faster you can stop your rotation, the longer you can accelerate through your rotation. So you can be more explosive longer through your swing without a risk of injury or your body subconsciously trying to slow you down early.
Sure.
So like the golfers that I've had who have started doing this thing put like 10 yards on every club in the first month or two. It's ridiculous how much harder they can hit a ball.
Yeah.
So,
and if you're not a golfer, it'll still decrease your risk of injuring yourself just in daily life if you're ever rotating quickly and you just slow yourself down.
It is also that, and rotations are the way to actually muscularly slim your waist down. I mean, lose fat. Losing fat is the actual way you slim it down. But if you're sitting there doing those like lateral flexing things like an angry penguin, that's not... First of all, don't do that. Lateral flexion isn't something your spine should do to that degree.
Nah.
Secondly,
not under load.
If you're crunching it that way, it's just going to make your waist wider.
Yeah.
So twist.
Yeah. Perfect. I agree with that.
That is a solid set of 6 exercises that people should do.
I think so too, man. A lot of underrated stuff on that list, for sure.
Kind of got all over the spectrum.
Yeah.
We had a couple primary movements with the deadlift, the trap bar deadlift, and the dips. We had some good secondary movements with face pulls, RDLs, and lateral lunges, and then you crushed it with that last core exercise. That was great.
Awesome.
Very cool.
It gives everyone a lot to implement in their training programs.
Yes, for sure. And if you guys have questions about how to implement those, please don't hesitate to drop us a line, send us some questions.
Absolutely.
Reach out, and we will be happy to answer any questions that you might have. That's Big Freakin' Neil. I'm Health Coach Kane. This was another awesome episode of the Big Freakin' Health Coach podcast. Please like, share, review, and we will see you next time.
Next time.